What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jocelyn O Sports. Because I do. One, I'm super excited that I finally got this intro thing going on. Normally, we be having like a weird pause, Zoe. So, like, I'm winning today.
It's a good day today. It's definitely a
It's
good
a
day
good
today.
day. It's a good day, right? We starting off with a little dub. We'll take it. So I will go on and on about Zoe because this is probably the most excited I've been about an interview in a while because she is the first time I get to merge two things I love together: flag football and tackle football. And we're gonna get more into that. But before I start to get, all groupie-ish, Zoe, if you can kind of let the people know a little bit about yourself, how long you've been playing both sports, and just, background, where you from, things of that nature.
Perfect. Well, my name is Zoe Jackson. I had played tackle football once when I was in fifth grade for my local high school. I've lived here in Marietta, Georgia for my entire life. Haven't moved. Been here ever since. So that one little experience in fifth grade really propelled everything football. I've been playing with the boys in seventh grade in flag football, and from then on. And when Georgia finally made flag football an official high school sport, I joined my team. But I was class of 2023, so I didn't get flag football until my junior year. So I didn't join until junior year. I was a little on the later side. And when I joined, I had interest immediately. I loved it. I was a captain, propelled the school, put my name out there, all that. Senior year, I was ready to commit to one of the top schools in the nation for flag at the collegiate level, which was Toughness University. And so I went there for 2 years. And my first year was a little rocky, but by second year, I hit the ground running. I was a starter. I was getting lots of statistics, lots of people looking my way, and all that stuff. By the time nationals came around last year, that's a story. Let me tell you, I don't know if a lot of people know, but the girl in the clip who Thomas versus Ottawa, that last catch, the last little toe tap, that was me. They did not
Okay.
count it, so yeah, that was a little rocky. But I moved back home after being at that school due to coach leaving and lots of seniors leaving. Came home, went to a school near me, which is Life University. Started playing with them, but because of transfer rules in the NAIA and Sun Conference, I cannot play this year. I will have to wait till next year, my senior year. But throughout the way, I'm supporting my team through their journey and being able to practice with them still and kind of get some reps here and there. I had seen Atlanta Truth for like 2 years on my Instagram. Like I've seen it go from Atlanta Phoenix to Atlanta Truth. I've seen it from the beginning, and I remember like being like, that would be so cool to play. I may not have the time, may not have the money, all that. And so something in me was like, just go, because trial for at Pebblebrook, which is, if anyone knows it, is in Cobb County. So it was like 30 minutes. I was like, 30-minute drive. Let's just see. Lots of great athletes. I was competing. This was the first trial to actually like was the underdog in. They signed me very quickly, and from then on, we've taken off, and I love it. This will be my first year playing pro, first time playing with all women, first time playing since I was really little. So I'm really excited.
So you touched on so many things, like gave me all the feels. One, like the young girl in me versus
Yeah.
the older woman in me that always wants to pour into young girls. It's so important that you spoke about something you did one time when you were in fifth grade, ultimately became your life. I think sometimes when we're younger, we don't understand, like, just going to that curiosity, that creative gene in us could shape so much more just because you tried it. If you never tried it, you wouldn't know.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I'm gonna go right into my questions because you hit on so many different layers. So you are a first year player, a
Yep.
rookie, and you are leading the entire league in receiving yards. That's crazy to me. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, I didn't even know I was leading until a lot of my teammates were like sending me stuff. But for me, I've never been like a stats person. At the end of the day, like I really like to have fun and I like to tell people I'm good at what I do, but I'm very humble about it. So stats to me were never really a big deal until everyone kind of like was sharing the stuff with me. I love being a leader as a rookie in the WNFC, but I also know that like for me, a lot of these girls have been playing for years and years and years. So for me to be coming in first year, probably one of the youngest besides like two other girls in the league, like I was already just excited to be on the field, point blank period. Just excited to play with these other women who've been playing, which I didn't even know was a thing. I've been playing for like 10 plus years on the field.
Yeah, so that if you did know, that is a big deal. It's an extremely big deal, and you should be very proud of that. A lot of the women, especially the ones that I have interviewed or I've interacted with, have been playing for like 10 years or more. So for you to take a hobby and a chance and become, the Odell Beckham Jr. out here of women's tackle football is it's a crazy thing, and you should be very proud of that. I'm proud of
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So okay, I'm gonna go into my next question. Me and you had a little beef, a little friendly beef this past Friday. Shout out to my Alabama State Hornets. I will say that your school got the best of us in more ways than one. Can you kind of walk me and the audience through your ties with Life University? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit.
Oh yeah, that goes way back. So my dad, he played flag football when I was younger, and he played in those like adult leagues, you would say. So all of his buddies, all of his, he knows a lot of people. I didn't know that my college coach, Coach Zach Damaris, knows my dad and his friends and his buddies, and they've all played. So when I was looking for another home, I hit him up and he was like, "Of course, you're welcome here." Like, no hesitation. And I just like being at Life, I would say a lot more just because I'm home. Atlanta's got a lot more opportunities now that I'm, graduating. I just also like being close to like everyone. All these girls I play with, I grew up in high school with them, played against them in high school, played travel with them. Like all these girls I have like a really deep connection with. So it's a lot different than playing at Thomas with a lot of the top athletes. It's more of a homey feel. But Coach Jack has really like helped me this year just because I know I couldn't play. He's been able to like push me through, and I've gotten a coaching position this year. So I've been helping out with defensive coaching. I've kind of got a glimpse at like how the like what the background scenes look like as a coach and as a team. But I wouldn't take this year for granted. A lot of people say, sitting out sucks. And it does to some extent, but I've also learned a lot about like who I am and like what I really want to do. And honestly, I wouldn't be here if I didn't not play and have the experience, like the time to go take another opportunity somewhere else also. So shout out to them, being able to take me in, but also know that they trust me enough with my skill set that even though I don't play this year, they'll still keep me around for next year. So I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
It's pretty dope. It actually seems like a very nice school. You remember I was lost. Like, dang, if I knew you was here, I probably would hit you up. But like they seem like a very close knit group. A lot of great athletes there. I could feel the energy just from being at the game. So that's pretty dope. And also, I love a little family tie. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Yeah.
have family ties. So
Yes,
you kind
ma'am.
of hit on something else that was interesting to me, right? So I would argue that you're great at both flag football, tackle football. Can you kind of explain some of the similarities, the differences, and if you had to choose one, which one would you choose?
I would say tackle football just because I've really missed it. I've always wanted to play since I was little. I honestly truly thought I was gonna go to the NFL at some point. Like
I
I've
know
always
that's
loved it.
right.
Flag football kind of, filled the gap a little bit. But, as a small little town girl who had a big dream, I love being able to play there. Flag also has my heart just because it is also a growing sport. I was also a pioneer for that sport as well, and is now almost become a D1 opportunity. So it's kind of hit or miss. I would say tackle definitely got my heart a lot more. Um, but yeah, flag's also up there just because when you play it for so long, because you have no other option, it's also just like it's there.
I feel you. I feel you kind of get used to to what you're doing. What do you think are like something that's like very similar with both sports, but then like something that's like completely different? Because I think people like to try to group it as the same, but it's a different unique skill set, I think, for both.
My position, at least as a wide receiver, the routes are mainly the same. You just have to go a little bit deeper. The field is a little bit bigger. So I guess in similarities of how the game's kind of set up and how it's kind of run, yes. But tackle football is a whole different circuit than flag. Flag, most people don't think of it as a very contact sport. It's very contact. I would say, at least from my position, like no easy balls are thrown, no easy catches, no easy like routes. Girls are still ready to take your head off if needed to. Like it doesn't they these need any pads or anything. But tackle football, they're ready to take your head off because they can. They're ready to just like hit stick you anything. So that was a big adjustment when I first went to tryouts. Was like I used to watch YouTube videos of like wide receiver routes with the men and like college camps and stuff like that, and I was like, why do they need to do this technique and why do they need to do that? And then I got there, I was like, oh, that's why. They're hands on, they're ready. I think that's like also like one of my favorite things is I get to use the stuff I learned as a wide receiver, route running, getting my like other people's hands off of me, all that stuff. I actually get to apply rather than flag. You just kind of got to wait for it a little bit. Um, Flag, I would say, is very fast paced, whereas tackle is very slower. Like we were able to call a play, set up, scan, and let's regroup. Flag, it's more like you got 30 seconds. We got to snap the ball. We need 5 yards. Let's go. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of differences. The biggest difference I would say is the hitting, which with flag, it's really not that big of a difference. but um, but yeah, the girls after trial day, they were very sweet to me. They were very like, here's some tips, here's some tricks. Ball security is one thing I struggle with. I will say that ball security is what I struggle with because flag, you have the ball out to wherever the ball is. If you drop it, it's not really a fumble. Scratch that. Tackle football, I think I got yelled at for like 2 weeks straight. Of Zoe, put the ball away, tuck it, jump on it, whatever you need to sacrifice yourself for the ball. That was like a big difference. I'm still learning a little bit, but that was like the main thing.
You was out there just freely like
Yeah, yeah, and I almost got my head taken off a couple of times. So
if I know the
annoying.
team the way I know it, yeah, I'm sure.
They made sure I remembered that. They really made sure that hey, you're either gonna learn your lesson or you're just gonna get learn it on the field. Like,
The lesson gonna learn you.
yeah.
That actually gives me two questions. One, do you think your ability to kind of be able to dissect routes like that gives you an advantage, or do you think it's the same?
Um, it's a little different in tackle because they're able to put their hands on you because they're able to kind of like push you around a little bit. Like when I get to the line, the only thing in my mind is how is she playing me? What's my route? And how do I get there as quickly as possible? So as a QB and tackle, you have a progression that's a little slower than flag. Flag, you have a play. The play is run a certain way. Play is supposed to beat a certain defense. In tackle, there's so many different combinations, so many people that can, blitz. There's so many people that can do anything that you kind of just you have to figure it out very quickly, but also not. So for me, I like to dissect my routes um, in the film room. I like to dissect my routes, at practice, and then when I get to the game, I kind of use all of those things that I've learned, tie them together, and then use it when I'm running to the line. Like when I'm running to the line, I'm thinking nothing but how do I get this post all the way to the safety because that's my job. My job is to make sure the safety comes with me. How do I, get her to come with me? How do I get her to move? All that stuff.
I can kind of see that. I mean, obviously your preparation, it shows because just to kind of watch you play is almost like effortless. I'm like, you're almost like a security blanket. They throw it up. I've seen you catch it out the slot. I've seen you burn them down of the field for about 50 yards on one play. So it just the preparation you speak of makes a lot of sense because it's almost like once you get to the line of scrimmage, you're not overthinking it. You're not overanalyzing it. You know the play. You just trying to get your position. So like I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. I think also being a defensive coach for flag, because there's so many similarities to the two sports, I'm able to, like, when I teach defense, I know what the defense is looking for. And then when I'm back on offense, I know exactly what they're looking for and how to beat it,
See,
essentially.
I knew you was getting some kind of advantage. I knew it.
Nah, that is just me studying. That's just me in film because I know I can be sat out at any moment, and that's one thing that's really different because in flag and growing up, a lot of people it's participation medals, and for a lot of people it's everyone gets a shot on the field. But playing in the WNFC, your spot is never secured. So that's one thing for me is I'm always making sure I'm getting my work in. I'm always catching up with all my teammates on what I need to do.
Well, it's good. I mean, one, it shows that you competitive, right? I can tell that competitive nature. And then two, like leadership doesn't come in necessarily experience. I'll tell people that some people are just natural born leaders, and some people lead in different ways. So you being willing to absorb that information makes a difference. I'm sure they all would tell you that.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
to my knowledge, there are a lot of tackle teams in Atlanta. What about the Atlanta Truth, besides them just popping up on your Instagram feed, that you was just like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it.
I actually didn't realize how many teams there were, and I think playing flag with the adult teams really helped with that. When I played in college and I moved up here, I wanted some extra work, some extra experience. So a lot of the teams reached out to me asking if I could just play here and there, some adult tournaments. This would be my first year playing adult tournaments, so it was really different. It would also be my first year playing different formats as well. So five, co-ed, eights, and all that. Eights is really where I saw a lot of the girls. They have tight knit groups, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, like what is this about? So Atlanta Rage, they have their own flag and tackle team. I had seen the Phoenix. I thought that they were completely disbanded, but they were actually in the WFA. Like I had seen that like there are so many teams and there's so many organizations. The only thing about Truth that stood out to me was WNFC. WNFC helps sponsor a lot of the collegiate events that I'm in. They also have a lot of athletes that they sponsor within my sport and stuff. That's the only reason why I chose WNFC because I could trust them. I could be like, hey, y'all know a lot of my teammates, y'all know a lot of the other teams, and, in the NAIA. So that's really where that came from. It wasn't really just like a you're better than one another. It's just more like I know y'all, I trust y'all, and I know that with any issues that I have, I can talk to anyone that I need to.
I can see that. I mean, one, shout out to my girl OJ. Um, I honestly didn't know that there were those many professional women's football teams out there either. I was just like, seriously, I think it was the first game someone was explaining it to me because I thought like that was it, like the
Yeah.
Atlanta Chiefs was it. So that's unique. But I love the fact that you went with them for trusting. I used to always tell my soldiers back in the day with my military hat, you can't perform well professionally if you don't feel secure personally. And so I think that's a big testament that you're comfortable on the field. I can tell you're comfortable with your people, you're comfortable with your environment. So I'm glad that choice worked out for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So my next question, you are such a chill, like good vibes only, like namaste type person. What do you do outside of football that keeps you so calm and relaxed?
I'm surprised you said I look like that, sound like that, because I don't feel like that. I had just entered into the adult world. I think I just did my taxes for the first time myself. I think I'm looking at apartments for myself the first time ever in my
Okay.
life. So
Grown,
it's
grown.
stressful. Yeah, it is stressful. I think for me, football is an outlet, so that's why you probably see that more chill side of me. But right now, I'm outside. I'm about to go fish. I fish. Kind of all around Lake Alatoona, up and down from Ackworth to Kenton. I line dance in my free time, so I'm going tonight to go line dancing.
Okay.
I kind of try to stay in that college realm, like not partying, but not also being like stuck in the house. um, but I don't know. I really am chill. Like to me, being outside and just like sitting here and being on the interview with you, like it's very chill. It's not like I'm forced to have to think about all these things I'm supposed to say or anything like that. I like to draw. I watch a lot of TV. And I know a lot of the athletes can relate, but I don't actually stay on my feet 24/7. Like, I actually like to relax. I actually like to like sleep or like watch TV. I'm not usually like just working out 24/7. I do have a job, so my
Don't
schedule
know.
is, yeah, my schedule is like jam packed. Like being on this interview, this was like the hour or two that I had to like myself.
Well,
So
thank
this
you.
is no, yes, but like I don't mind because a lot of these girls, I found out they have big girl jobs. They gotta like they don't have a choice. They have to go. For me, I'm just kind of like here, but no, it's I have a lot of stuff I do in my free time. It kind of just is up to my mood. Right now, it's pretty outside. It's springtime, so obviously we're fishing, and yeah, pretty chill, pretty laid back.
See, that's why I say chill, lay back with the vibes, because like even your definition of outside is completely different from some other people's definition of outside at your age. They be like, "Girl, I be outside." You're like, "No, I'm outside." So you know what I'm saying? It's two different vibes.
Yes, ma'am. No, yeah, I don't think I've partied at all since I've been in college. Everyone was like, "No, you're gonna party, you're gonna do all that." I really have it. Like once you get to college, you're like, I can actually finally relax. I don't have a parent in my ear saying you got homework to do. I don't have a teacher yelling at me for a test I have to do. Like it's really chill. There will be stress later in life. Don't get me wrong, but for right now, like I'm not I'm not really outside the way everyone else is outside. I'm just genuinely outside.
No, I'm like, no, Zoe's really outside. Like she's going fishing. She's not like outside.
Yes.
Okay, my last question before we get out of here. You're such an advocate for the sport, right? You've done a lot with flag and you're doing a lot with tackle now. In 15 seconds or less, why should people be paying attention to flag football and women's tackle football?
Because a lot of people will pay millions, hundreds, thousands of dollars to watch men in the NFL, men in college, and we are doing the exact same thing. And for me, it's always been about proving the men wrong. I love watching, college and NFL, but we can do it better. I feel like you've come to a couple of our games. We could do it better. If not, we up there at the same level. And I think the fact that we don't have the same sponsorships or we don't have the same branding as them kind of sucks. So putting my foot out there and not just flag, but also tackle will help propel the sport. A lot of people have commented on my story and everything, talking about, hey, I didn't even know this was a team. Can I come watch? Stuff like that. So it's really just the little things. Having fans to sign autographs for, that's also a big thing for us as well. Just getting our name out there to tell people, hey, you don't just have to watch them all the time. We've got something right around the corner, right at home.
I love it. I love it. And I tell each young lady that I'm trying to highlight and amplify these stories for, our time is coming. I remember being a advocate of the WNBA back in 1995, 1996 when they first came out. Last night, five rookies all became millionaires. So it's
Hmm.
going to happen. The time is coming. But I think people like you who make the sport exciting and fun and sign those autographs, update those Instagram pages. It seems so small, but a lot of times people resonate with the person more than they resonate with the sport, right?
Hmm.
So I think women like you and all of my girls on Atlanta Truth, they making it happen. I mean, those are some exciting games. I'm out there, they dancing and stuff. I'm like, I got one of those big girl jobs, as you would say. I said, they ain't playing shake that laffy taffy at my job.
No, I get that though.
Okay, well, that is it, Zoe. Again, I appreciate you taking your 1 hour out the day to kind of give it to us.
Of course. No, of course. Anytime.
Okay, and I'm hoping y'all get the dub coming
We
up.
will. I
Okay,
know I what I gotta do. We will definitely get that business done.
okay, all right. Well, just like that, we are out. See you next time.